The year is 1995, deep in South Africa, 200 kilometers north of Galsburg. Outer Heaven, an armed fortress nation, established by a legendary mercenary. He was feared in combat by both his friends and foes as a hero and a lunatic. The Western nations found that a weapon of mass destruction capable of rewriting the history of war was under development at Outer Heaven. They called upon the high-tech Special Forces unit Foxhound to take care of the situation. In response to this order, Big Boss, the commander-in-chief of Foxhound, sent Gray Fox, the man with the code name Fox, which was given to the best member of the unit. After a few days, Gray Fox was missing in action, his last message being Metal Gear. Taking the situation seriously, the top men of the West again called for Foxhound. Big Boss selected Solid Snake, who had recently joined Foxhound, as the agent and entrusted everything to him. Successfully making a solo infiltration into Outer Heaven, Snake got in touch with local resistance members Schneider, Diane, and Jennifer. With their cooperation, Snake succeeded in rescuing Gray Fox. Gray Fox laid out the terrifying facts about Metal Gear. Metal Gear was the development name of a nuclear warhead-equipped two-legged walking tank. It could walk through over the toughest terrains that would stop normal tanks. It could conduct local warfare by itself with unique weapons like its Vulcan cannon and anti-tank missiles. It was indeed a new type of weapon that could conduct a nuclear attack against any place on the face of the Earth from any land surface. With Metal Gear, Outer Heaven was trying to establish its military superiority over the entire world. In order to destroy Metal Gear, Snake rescued Metal Gear's chief engineer, Dr. Drago Petrovich Madnar, and his daughter Ellen, who was taken hostage to force her father to continue with his development. Snake hears from Dr. Madnar how to destroy Metal Gear. However, as Snake approached the heart of Outer Heaven and Metal Gear, well-designed traps were set all around Snake, as if his actions were being leaked to the enemy. In the midst of the escalating battle, the leader of the resistance, Schneider, fell into the hands of the enemy, and Snake himself was injured through the deadly battles with Outer Heaven's best mercenaries. But Snake's indomitable spirit led him to the 100th floor basement of the secret base where Metal Gear was developed. Evading the powerful defense system that wipes out all intruders, Snake ultimately succeeded in destroying Metal Gear. Snake tried to escape from Outer Heaven upon completing the mission. However, during the escape he was confronted by one man, Foxhound's commander-in-chief Big Boss. Big Boss laughed at the astounded Snake and told him the truth behind his mission. While serving as commander-in-chief of Foxhound, Big Boss also ran a mercenary dispatch company utilizing his connections and capitals from his own years as a merc. He was planning to build this company into a larger military establishment, and he built Outer Heaven as its base. His purpose for sending the rookie Snake was to spread misinformation amongst the Western nations. However, Big Boss miscalculated. He never thought Solid Snake would make it this far. Having lost Metal Gear, Big Boss activated the self-destruct system of the underground base. While the countdown to destruction continued, his voice echoed in the emptiness.
I gave this mission to you, a rookie, thinking I could use you to fool the rest of the world. But you were too good. You went too far. Solid Snake, I'm not going down alone. I'm taking you with me. Prepare to die.
On the 100th floor basement, a battle between two men commenced, free of ideology and politics. The armed fortress nation Outer Heaven collapsed. The impenetrable fortress, made from the best military technology and occupied by the toughest mercenaries, burned in flames. Behind him, the flames reached skyward as Outer Heaven fell, leaving Solid Snake all alone. The year is 1999. The world was facing an energy crisis. It was obvious that the world's petroleum supply would run out faster than expected. However, the development of an alternative energy resource was far from completion. The price of petroleum has skyrocketed and the world economy in confusion. The 21st century was expected to be one of chaos. One man's invention changed the entire situation. A Czech genius and biologist, Dr. Keo Marv, invented Oilix, a microorganism that refines petroleum to produce a highly purified form of petroleum. The world was filled with hope upon this discovery to solve the energy crisis, but at the same time, the world entered a time of tension regarding this new algae. Just when the whole world's attention was drawn to Oilix and Dr. Marv, he was abducted by someone and disappeared. Nations immediately began to investigate, and a name soon appeared: Zanzibar Land. Zanzibar Land was a democratic military regime that suddenly appeared in Central Asia in 1997. When their uprising took place, the CIS army formed around Russia sent in a suppressive unit immediately. Zanzibar Land resisted by gathering a band of mercenaries from nations around the world and fortifying most of its land. As a result, the CIS army was repeatedly defeated, and Zanzibar Land declared its independence. Due to the active role mercenaries played, this war was called the Mercenary War, and Zanzibar Land was referred to as an armed fortress nation, a military nation with a group of strong mercenaries surrounded by a tough fortress. According to the latest information, Zanzibar Land was supposedly armed with nuclear weapons. The whole scenario was crystal clear. By obtaining Oilix in addition to nuclear weapons, Zanzibar Land was trying to establish its economic and military superiority over the entire world. Concerned about the situation, the United States of America ordered Roy Campbell, Commander-in-Chief of High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, to rescue Dr. Marv. Campbell was a former member of Foxhound. He brought back Solid Snake, the man who single-handedly brought down the armed fortress nation of Outer Heaven 4 years ago, and asked Snake to bring back Dr. Marv and Oilix. Successfully infiltrating Zanzibar Land, and with help from CIA agent Holly and others, Snake was able to go deep into the fortress and meet again with Dr. Madnar, the chief engineer of Metal Gear from Outer Heaven. He too was abducted to Zanzibar Land and forced to develop another Metal Gear. He told Snake an even more shocking fact. Big Boss, the man Snake had defeated at Outer Heaven, turned out to be the general commander of Zanzibar Land. Snake rescued Dr. Madnar in cooperation with Gustava Hefner, Dr. Marv's guard and former Czech International Secret Police agent, and then headed for the confinement facility deep in the fortress to save Dr. Marv. While Madnar and Gustava crossed the narrow suspension bridge over the deep valley, a missile blew the bridge away. Gustava was thrown into the air because of the explosion. Unable to do anything to save Gustava, Snake heard a familiar voice.
This bridge is closed. I'm taking Madnar with me. Tell you what, Snake, for old time's sake, I'll do you a favor and let you live. If you get your sorry carcass out of here, you hear me? Go home, now!
It was Gray Fox controlling Metal Gear, the best soldier in Foxhound who, after the fall of Outer Heaven, disappeared to follow Big Boss. Losing Gustava in front of his eyes and letting Madnar get taken away, Snake yelled,
"Fox! You won't get rid of me that easily."
After a series of deadly battles with mercenaries, Snake finally made it to Dr. Marv's confinement facility. However, he arrived too late. He saw Dr. Marv's corpse and Madnar, who could do nothing but just stand there. Madnar told Snake that Dr. Marv could not withstand the repeated tortures because of heart problems. Snake then received an emergency call from Holly. The information she supplied was very shocking. Madnar had been voluntarily visiting Zanzibar Land to develop Metal Gear. The abduction of Dr. Marv was conducted under the directions of Madnar himself. After the truth came out, Madnar attacked Snake, but Snake easily put an end to him and obtained the structural plan of Oilix. While trying to escape, Snake was confronted by Metal Gear again, controlled by Gray Fox. A tremendous battle took place in the underground base. Snake finally succeeded in destroying Metal Gear. However, Gray Fox did not submit and challenged Snake to a final battle. In the midst of a minefield, Snake and Fox fought without any weapons. A fist-to-fist duel involving no hatred or murderous intent. During that moment of purity, the two were bound by forces transcending words and emotions. Snake won the tough but pure battle against Gray Fox. However, it wasn't over yet. Snake had to fight Big Boss. Just like 4 years ago at Outer Heaven, Big Boss was waiting for Snake.
Once you've awakened the warrior within, it never sleeps again. You crave ever bigger tensions, ever bigger thrills. As a mercenary, I'd think you would have realized that by now. You care nothing for power, or money, or even sex. The only thing that satisfies your cravings is war. All I've done is give you a place for it. I've given you a reason to live.
Snake was infuriated at the arrogant Big Boss.
I've only got one fight left. To free myself from your grip. To rid myself of these nightmares. Big Boss, I will defeat you.
With the structural plan of Oilix, Snake and Holly escaped from Zanzibar land on a rescue helicopter. Snake once again saved the world. However, there was no smile on his face. Big Boss's last words kept ringing in his head.
It doesn't matter who wins here. Our fight will continue. The loser will be liberated from the battlefield, and the winner will remain, and the survivor will live out the rest of his days as a soldier.
Snake then disappeared into the white lands of Alaska, alone.